This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And while it's true, this is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Tom, if you watch the show on a regular basis, know that he has been off this week. Judd Zulgad from SKOR North in for him for one more day, and then it'll be Phil Mackey tomorrow. So welcome in. AJ is in. Tevin, of course, in as well. So 2/3 of the show is here, plus your ordinary sports guy. Speaking of which, all right, Tevin, tell me the story that you just told me off mic before we started the show, because I do want to talk about opening day in baseball and the Twins obviously playing their home opener today. Mm-hmm. But tell me this story, because I feel like this is one that needs to be seriously discussed.
Yeah, so yesterday, LA Dodgers, kind of, I guess you could say, not really a too well-known player, Shohei Ohtani, only the highest paid player in baseball. Yeah, you might have heard of him before. It's his first home run as a Dodger. Fan catches ball. As you could imagine, it's a pretty special ball for Shohei. So they bring her down. We're going to negotiate so we can get this ball back. She names her price, which were 2 Dodgers hats and a bat, and she got to meet Shohei, and then she gave the ball back. And online, she is getting killed because they are saying you got grossly underpaid and don't know how to negotiate. Do you guys have a price or initial thoughts and a price that it would take for Shohei or anybody to get that ball back?
So just to go back, the terms were 2 hats,
a bat, and she got to meet Shohei.
And a meeting. Okay. All right. Yeah, AJ, what would you do here?
Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't hand that over for 2 hats and a ball and a baseball bat. Are you kidding me? That's insane. Like I was telling Tevin, you just won the lottery, and even so, an even more special lottery than the actual Powerball, right? You have to take into account his first game, or his first season with the Dodgers. Like, even though he's got the arm surgery stuff going on and he can't pitch this year, he's still hitting. He has to not hit a home run in any of these other games. Then you have to be at this game. You have to be in the exact right seat. And then you're doing Thunderdome Gladiator style, the Coliseum, as that ball is arching its way towards you. You have grown men elbowing you, pushing you aside, beer spilling all over you, and you come out with this baseball. And you went through hell and back for 2 hats, a meeting with Shohei, and a baseball bat. Are you kidding me? And I'm sure the assistants that kind of escort the fan down to make the negotiations happen, they probably are trained to butter them up a little bit, get them off their guard so that they're a little more reluctant to hand it over rather than play hardball with them. So, but my initial thing is I'm asking for tickets. I'm asking for a photo opportunity. I'm asking for signed memorabilia. I'm asking for even more signed memorabilia, some sort of exclusive once in a lifetime experience with the Dodgers. And then we'll see what they want to meet in the middle at. But 2 hats, a baseball bat, and a picture is, my God, that's chump change.
And Judd, to put it into a little bit more perspective, there was a foul ball that Shohei Ohtani signed for a fan that he hit, and it sold for $15,000 online.
Yeah. This is the thing is, first of all, clearly 2 hats, a bat, and a meet and greet. That strikes me as what the Dodgers and Ohtani might have had as the starting point of negotiations. Like the first thing thrown out, the thing that they know that the fans can be like, no. But they got to start somewhere, right?
Yep.
So why not start with an absolutely insulting offer? But to accept this, to accept that little of return, like that's not a great return for some young player who comes up from the minors and hits his first home run. Like that's, hey, you get to now it's Ohtani you get to meet. So that is cool. But if Brooksley comes up for the Twins, in May, okay. And for at some point he hits his first home run as a pro or as a Major League Baseball player at Target Field, and they say you're going to get to meet Brooks, you're going to get 2 Twins hats and a bat. You're like, no, I'm going to get more than that. So this is absolutely ridiculous. You do have to weigh Tevin, what you just said too, which is there anything the Dodgers can give you that would be the equivalent of this baseball once it's authenticated just being auctioned off?
And that's the thing here, really quick. I see a professional auctioneer chiming in saying that they think it easily on an auction in Japan would have fetched at least $1 million US.
Yeah, it's wild. And I get it. Like, it's a special ball for Shohei. We don't want to be out here just trying to get a bunch of money, but
yeah, we do.
Yes, we do. And if I'm not going to get money, I thought about this. Here's what I would do.
Okay.
If, like you're saying, Judd Brooks Lee hits a home run or I catch Shohei Ohtani's ball, I want like a package of tickets to another game, but I want to throw out the first pitch. That would be, if you're not going to give me money, let me throw out the first pitch to a game. And then you have to introduce me to the fans as like super fan Tevin Pittman, and he's throwing out the first pitch. That's what I would do.
And the first pitch is with the ball that you caught, and that's how it's transferred. That's the first time he gets to touch it after hitting it.
Shohei's going to be the catcher. I'm going to pitch him the home run ball.
I mean, I think you got to ask for something though, that if they're not going to pay you, and you might just decide, okay, if they're not going to pay me, I'm just going to auction this thing off.
Yeah,
but if they say, hey, well, we can't, we're not, I don't know why they would. I mean, Ohtani alone could pay you. Yeah. But, I need something of value as well, like from the team. I don't know if it's like if Shohei Ohtani played for the Twins and you caught his home run, his first home run as a Twin. I know this is a hypothetical, so don't laugh too hard.
People can drink.
But I want season tickets like in the Champions Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I catch that ball at Dodger Stadium, I think I'm asking, and I guess I would be asking Ohtani as much as the team. I want, behind home plate, they've got, you can see there's a club because the celebrities all sit there. I want like season tickets there for like 2 seasons. Because the best thing is if they say buzz off, no, you're like, okay. And then what Age just said comes into play, which is I might be able to get $1 million. Okay. If I want to come back and buy those tickets, I can do that with $1 million. This is shame on the Dodgers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like shame on the Dodgers for like this is not even a remotely fair offer.
Yeah, they're probably sitting in their office right now. Like, can you believe that we just got away with giving the 2 hats that were probably just dusty in the back? We forgot we're even there.
It's not even like the up to date. It's like an old, outdated. It was an error from the factory. 2 hats, and Shohei just like scribbled on it. Okay, thanks, much love, Shohei. Boom, there you go. See you later.
Yeah, meeting him doesn't carry as much value to me because English isn't his first language, and so she probably had to communicate through his interpreter. So it lacks a little bit of the, like, I feel like the personal connection there, where she maybe didn't get to see his true personality. So it's like,
Do you care though?
No.
Like, let's say he speaks English perfectly. Do you care? No. I guess my question is this: do we know her age?
I do not. Judging from the kind of grainy picture of her in the middle of the crowd, she looked like she's probably in her mid-20s, early 30s.
Oh boy, yeah. See, I was thinking if it was a person like around 20 or so, you might be thrilled by the whole thing. But early 30s, that type of financial windfall, and like I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm 54 and so I'm jaded. But at my age, if I did not do the job I do. So like, let's say I was in banking. I was 54. Mm-hmm. There's no athlete I'm going to meet like Ohtani now where I'm going to be like, oh my God, this is such a huge part of this. Because it's just, you go in, you shake the guy's hand, you take a picture or two. It's not like you get a day with Ohtani.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not working for me at all. I am the more we talk about this, the more disgusted and disappointed I become by this whole thing.
Yeah, good for her for at least getting something, I guess. But for me,
it's worse. Just give it away. No, this return, aside from the meeting Ohtani part, no. If they offer you 2 hats and a bat, and you're like, okay, then no, just give him the damn baseball.
Yeah, I would have kept that baseball and said, you can try to get this back at auction with everybody else. Have a nice day.
Yeah. If it's that valuable to you, you'll pay up.
Yep.
At the very least, I'm thinking here, and again, this is not a rookie. This is not a young guy, not a rookie. Okay.
No.
At the very least, I could see retaining a lawyer and telling Ohtani $500,000. I mean, that's still potentially taking a $500,000 loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this is a young man who a week ago was in Iowa.
No.
Trying to eat fast food.
Right.
And that's where, like, I think myself, maybe compared to others, maybe even you, Judd, might differ on it. Because I think I would have like that, well, shoot, people are going to think I'm the bad guy for withholding this baseball. And, you know, he did hit it. And even though I did catch it and it's mine, I feel like it should go back to him. And that would play a factor in it. Similar to the guy that caught Mark McGwire's like record-breaking home run when they were in that home run race with Sammy Sosa.
Yeah,
he was just working at the field and was like, I have to give it back to him. How can I not give it back to him? So that maybe that factors in there, but 2 hats and a baseball bat is ridiculous.
But think about it this now age, because yes, at the time I know exactly what you're saying, but think about this now in retrospect, knowing how guys like McGwire and Sosa cheated the system. I no longer feel like I did back then. Like, sell it, just sell it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You caught it, make your money. Are you greedy? Yeah, but let's look at Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani 2 weeks ago, the big story was, is he betting on sports? You know, like yes. So I guess my question is this: in 2024, how many people are going to think that you're the bad guy?
Not
if you do that.
Not that many.
I'd admire it. Oh,
yeah.
Boy, that's a lot. All right, let's take a break. Come back with more on the Tom Barnard podcast.
In addition to having the best selection in town, K&L Surplus and Ammo also can help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. Very, very important. You've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one, don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you're no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely and through consignment and auction. I know Jim. He's an extremely knowledgeable guy, great guy too. Will help you get top dollar, which is very important, of course. He will help you explore all the options and take the work and stress off of your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. Thank you. They're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM, you get free shipping on your entire order. You get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more, To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you can get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
All right, boys. Where does opening day in rank for you guys, especially more so in baseball? The home opener, which the Twins play this afternoon against Cleveland. Where does that rank for you guys among sporting events, and especially sporting events opening days? Let's start with Age. I have a feeling his response is going to be different, but I have a feeling Tevin's is going to reflect far more people. So, Age, let's start with you.
I like cherish opening day, especially the home opener. There's like a certain, I try to get out to as many as possible. I know today it's the first time in 5-6 years that I'm not able to be at the Twins home opener. And that's as a guy who mainly doesn't, my main baseball cheering is for the Chicago Cubs, but I still, it's been weird because they now are officially playing each other every year. So it's been easier in the past to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to root for the Twins there as well. But there's a magical, even the worst of the worst teams have hope on opening day. Even the Oakland A's this year, the fan base, even though they caught it, they're
really sure about that?
They're
sure about that?
There's a couple people that are like, yeah, this could be the year we can really stick it and show it's money ball over. No, it's up there for me. I would say it's higher than most NHL opening day, week 1 of the NFL, NBA season opener. There's just a certain prestige and grandeur and the showmanship, the theatrics around it. It's kind of, and plus everything that goes into it, getting that first beer and hot dog at the ballpark. Maybe you go to the Loon beforehand with your buddies and you smash a couple of grape apes before stumbling over to Target.
Don't remember a thing about opening day. Perhaps you puke on the walkway before you go in.
All of a sudden it's the 6th inning and you've got nachos all down the front of your
They're leading you out of the stadium in handcuffs.
But yeah, I would say it's my favorite start of the season for any sport.
And you're 21.
27.
Just to put the age. Okay, Tevin, you're how old?
I'm 32.
Okay.
Couldn't care less about opening.
This is what
and it's no disrespect to baseball and baseball fans. Here's why I couldn't care less. One, the Twins always being obviously a cold climate at the start of the season, never really felt like they were a part of opening day as far as the grand theatrics of it. When it's every team is starting and the Twins are not here, feels like we don't really get to celebrate it. And back in the day, it was definitely more of a big thing. I remember being a little kid and it was always, you're seeing the flyovers and it was almost like the U.S. stopped on opening day because we all have to watch baseball. Yes. And now it's like, oh, the season started already? Is today the day they play their first home game? There's too many games. I'm just, whatever.
I'm more with AJ on how he feels, but I think Tevin is 1,000% more a reflection of society. Mm-hmm. Because opening day, and just so the Twins, just to be clear, opened last Thursday in Kansas City, but opening day / your home opener used to be such a huge day. I mean, it used to be, you're right, Tevin, when you were like a kid, it was the biggest. I think it was easily the biggest opening day in sports.
Yeah.
There was a time when the official home or the official opener was always played by the Cincinnati Reds. The game started at the same exact time, and then games followed. So it was a day-long fiesta of baseball was back, and it was huge. And then they got cute with it. Now they open, they opened in Seoul this year, 2 weeks ago or something like that. There was a time when they decided that the opener itself was going to be a standalone game on a Sunday night, like football. That was absolutely didn't at all feel like baseball. And as far as I'm concerned, the Thursday night opener in football now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the biggest opener in sports. Football's done this right because football is a unique sport. Seasons are shorter as far as games go. Each game has a huge impact compared to baseball, which plays 162. And so Yeah, I really, really think that what Tevin said reflects far more people than Age and I. And it's sort of too bad because, football, I give them credit. The one thing the National Football League has done brilliantly is they have slowly but surely, and it's still a work in progress, they have taken over the calendar. Like if you look at what football has done, they play now. Their season is not short as far as the months go, but they play 17 regular season games plus playoffs, and yet they have found a way to become as relevant. It feels like during the off season as they are in season. You got so the Super Bowl ends. You've got the combine that leads into free agency. That now leads into how long? A month plus of talk about the draft. That leads into the off-season activities where the teams get back on the field and begin to do stuff. And that, of course, gets covered by ESPN and all of the networks. And so there was a time when I think what AJ said about opening day was 1,000% true. I mean, people marked it on their calendars and it was huge. And there's probably still a decent faction of people my age who might feel that way. But I think the youth, and I'll throw both of you guys into the youth more so. I think that is how it's long gone now. And it's sort of sad because it was cool, but I think it's a different thing now. And baseball, the one thing I don't get is you could go to Seoul and play in July. I mean, I think they go in June and play in England. Yeah. I don't understand why you choose to ever open your season when the games are played or they start at approximately 5 a.m. Central. I don't get that.
Yeah, it would be like the NFL going, hey, we're playing our game in London this year, but it's going to be the opening game of the season. So we're doing it without all of the fans for the teams involved. And it's like, okay, cool. We get it. You're trying to expand the game, but really, you're going to take the opening day from us? Give them a different day.
And why then? That's the thing is they're going to be happy to get games. If I tell you, I mean, when the National Football League, they foist the team's not terrible now, but they have been for a while. They foist the Jacksonville Jaguars on the people of jolly old England all the time. And how long was it the Jaguars are coming, the Jaguars are coming, and they'll take what they can get.
Right.
So why are you diluting a product like what was a special day? Why are you diluting that in essentially, or not essentially, in what are your home markets? What goes through these people's minds at baseball?
Yeah, and then to do it during spring training. So it wasn't oh, everybody's done with spring training. It was, we're going to do this one regular season game, and then everybody's going to keep playing their preseason spring training games. It's it doesn't even feel real. I don't even consider that game to be one that was on the schedule.
Yeah, and the Dodgers then and the Padres go back to spring training after their first official regular season. That makes zero sense. How do you not start your season on U.S. soil with a big matchup, similar to what Judd said with what football does with that first matchup of the year? You have to have all eyes on it. I understand maybe wanting to have every game kick off at the same time. Just go one day earlier, have the reigning World Series champs open their season so you can put on the grandeur and the show of them unveiling the banner, and they got the gold trim around their jerseys for that first series and all that stuff. The Rangers should have opened a day before everybody else, taking on somebody in the division for good baseball. And then if you want to send them to Seoul, Korea, if you want to send them to Hamburg, Germany, if you want to send them to Rio de Janeiro, I don't care.
Just a world tour of baseball.
Rio de Janeiro.
I mean, hey, at this point, I wouldn't put anything past Robbie Manfred.
No, it's a really, really it's to me from a marketing standpoint, because to play Tevin's point out too, this would be if the Jaguars opened against the Texans in London, but it happened during training camp. Then you brought them back, sent them back to training camp, and then we're okay, a week after that, now we're really going to start to play again. I don't know. Baseball, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. And I will say, for all the heat that the commissioner takes. Rob Manfred's speed up rules were great. Like, I do love the fact, because those games were becoming way too long. And I love baseball, but I don't want to sit there. You know, you play 162, 3+ hours per day is ridiculous. But I mean, now they've got this jersey kerfuffle going on where the jerseys are these amateur hour. Now guys are sweating through them. Like, you turn on a game and the guy looks like he's been outside working on his car for the last, 3 hours. There's like sweat stains and stuff. It's like, that's a big league uniform. You got to be kidding me. So, but it's too bad. Because I do feel like there's going to be, or not going to be, there is a generation of fans who basically aren't going to understand what opening day once meant, and that is purely baseball's fault. Chris Egert, Channel 5 Eyewitness News. He's up next.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? Two Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota, started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Speaking of Josh, Channel 5's Chris Egert, who joins us now, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Good morning, Egert. It looks like you are not in studio unless that's a hell of a background.
We have a really good green screen. It looks so lifelike.
You TV people are constantly pulling the wool over our eyes, and I'm sick of it.
Seriously, that's why they call us fake news, because we're doing things like this all the time.
You're probably in your bathroom right now, for all I know.
I have a hell of a bathroom, Judd. It's true.
A good bathroom is nice. What's going on?
Well, we're doing the show out here, Minnesota Live, from 9 to 10 this morning. We just got down on the field. And the funny thing is, we're waiting for our camera crew to show up. And they're nowhere even close yet. So maybe we won't be doing a show at 9 o'clock. I guess we'll find out.
Well, you know what? They better get there, my man, because you are operating on your cell phone right now. And I'm going to tell you, you sound okay, but the picture is great. Don't give anybody excuses for how to be replaced.
Yeah.
Not you, your camera people.
You got to turn the phone sideways.
You want it like this?
There we go. Now we got the
Okay.
full screen and we can see.
Oh, that is nice. Thank you, Tim.
I wasn't sure if it would automatically flip its aspect ratio there. So yeah, pretty cool view. That's we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff, I guess. You know, baseball opening day. Woo woo.
That's what I was going to ask. I just got done talking to Tevin and AJ about this. Where does opening day rank for you among like sporting events, pomp and circumstance? Because when I was a kid, it was huge. Now I feel like it's been passed way by football and that opening weekend. But like, did you grow up a baseball fan, and does opening day still hold a special meaning in your heart?
I did grow up a baseball fan, and I'm like hardcore Herb Carnegie, you know, go Twins, old school radio cast. But I would say I have a more of a nostalgic and sort of a this is the start of summer type thing. I have that feeling about opening day. As far as like a sporty excitement, I guess I'm with you. I'm probably more excited for, you know, the first real NFL game of the year. But I mean, it's right up there for sure. And you know, such a great park. And I mean, obviously I'm excited right now because I'm not in the cheap seats where I normally be if I was at the game. But
Right. Yeah. Have a couple of beers. I think part of the problem for guys like us, and I'm with you, Target Field is gorgeous. Like, it is great. I guess the problem is at my age, as much as I love baseball, I will go to my grave feeling robbed by this one. From the age of 12 to 40, this team played indoors.
yeah,
My prime drinking years in baseball, Egert, were ripped away from me by a team that played under a Teflon roof. I will never forgive the sports gods for that.
dude, that I still have. I'll never forget. It was like the first time anybody ever creeped on me. I was at the Dome and I was peeing in the trough, and I was probably like 8th grade, and this dude next to me was like creeping, and I was like, what? And like, that's my memory of the Metrodome.
He was okay. Sorry to do this, to bring up a bad memory, but explain the creep. Like, so he's like getting closer to you in the trough.
I mean, you know, when you're in the bathroom and if you're in one of those public go to the bathroom type scenarios, and the person's kind of doing the look over and like trying to see what's doing next to you. That's what was happening.
No. You're eyes forward. The trough was bad enough.
I know.
That's
I was a child, so the guy was like a molester.
Oh my God. So your Metrodome memory is completely tainted.
Well, my other great Metrodome memory is when we went out, my buddy and I went out into, did Ricky Henderson for the A's, did he play center field?
I played left field a lot.
Field. Okay.
Left field.
So it was like one of those games like in the afternoon on a Tuesday where there are like 4 people at the game.
Yep.
And so we went out there and we stood like right next to Ricky Henderson, and all these, there's like 5 other dudes out there who were just hazing him the whole freaking game. They're like, Ricky.
Yes.
And there was nobody else there. So like, you know, he heard us, and that was like the most fun. And then he at some point stopped like being a Richard about it and like came over and started goofing around with us. And that's probably my favorite Metrodome memory. I don't know if that's a weird memory or not, but
no, that's a great one. That's a great one. And Ricky was how can I put this as nicely as possible? An interesting guy, like he was, but yeah, we sat in the outfield. I went a lot when I was in high school. I want to say it was the mid 80s. And yeah, it was great. They would ride the outfielder, the left fielder, because that was prime territory. And I believe when I was going, it was GA. So they weren't assigned seats, and it was $5.
Yep. That makes sense from the kind of people who we were sitting next to for that
Mhm.
game. And the garbage bag was in left field, right? Or in right field.
Right field.
Yeah,
Right field.
okay.
The
That all makes
garbage
sense.
bag? I'm
baggie.
unfamiliar. Oh, okay. Wait, what?
So the right field had vampire seats for football that would come down, and then they put them up, but they eventually put because it was so easy in the early days to basically pop a ball over that right field wall, Tevin, that they put up that's a baggie that they put up that extended above that.
Oh, gotcha.
And I guess we called it they called it the garbage bag, didn't they? That's what
Yep.
I remember it as. Yeah.
Yep, because when a ball would bounce off it, it would look like if you took a ball to like a Glad bag and threw it off, it would ripple.
Okay.
Dude, the Metrodome, look, people are like, oh, I love the Metrodome. And you know what? That's great. That's awesome. But I can't tell you, like, we would make a pilgrimage in the 90s once per year or so to Wrigley Field to see outdoor baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The Metrodome wasn't real baseball. It was, I don't know what it was, but
No,
before
it
you
wasn't.
yeah. Before you go, I want to get back to a question about this. Because I saw this on Twitter a couple of days ago and just a picture, and I realized how accurate it was. Why did we ever normalize troughs at sporting events for bathrooms?
Thank you. I'll do you one better. Why is it not a normal thing to have a divider in the bathroom? Because there's a desperate need for a revamp of the American bathroom system. Why are the cracks in the stalls the width of like a phone? Like you could just be walking by and all of a sudden, per accident, you make solid eye contact with some stranger you've never met in your life while their pants are down around their ankles. It's something that bothers me each and every day. I hate using public bathrooms. There's zero privacy in a room that should be.
It's all about efficient use of space. They need to get people moving in and moving out.
Yeah, but the troughs at the Metrodome, that was next level. Like they just said, we don't really care where you pee. Just everybody line up shoulder to shoulder and whip it out.
Have you guys ever seen?
Chris can't hear us.
Chris can't hear.
Well, maybe while he's reconnecting, have you ever seen the video? It's on YouTube. I don't think I should pull it up just for the sake of what it is.
Nope.
But it's in the Metrodome. I think it's at a Vikings game. We might have lost Chris. We'll see if he rejoins here. But there's a guy who's like, everybody get back, and then he slip and slides in the trough.
Nope.
Oh yeah. I don't know. That's not the Metrodome. I don't think that's the Metrodome. But yes, it's disgusting.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't when the Metrodome was like getting torn down, didn't somebody steal the troughs out? Because people were taking seats and stuff.
No, I think they sold them, dude.
Oh, they sold them.
I think they were selling them.
That's even worse. If you paid money,
I think some people bought them and planted flowers.
Nothing's growing in those. Like,
oh, I'm not. No. Look, you know what? I'm big on stadium seats. In fact, I've got two from the Met Stadium, which obviously preceded the Metrodome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you said to me, "Hey, you could have a trough in the Metrodome," I'm like, no, thank you.
No.
I mean, but yeah, whoever it's funny when you look at things that, especially as a kid, you just sort of accept it as the norm, and as an adult, as time passes, especially, and those things are basically pushed aside. You look at them and you're like, who normalized this? The other trough thing is, I mean, like if you want to justify it as, hey, you could get a lot of guys, shoulder to shoulder, you can move people out. Okay, that's sort of gross. Anyway, but here's my thing: the splashback.
Yeah.
They're troughs. There's going to be a splashback, and I'm sorry, but to Age's point, and I know it takes longer to cycle through, so I'm not saying it's more convenient, but women's bathrooms are heaven compared to ours.
Yeah.
First of all, lots of them have, like at businesses, front lounges. Why don't we get a front lounge? Like what gives you like we're all people. Like that front lounge, you can take a little nap in there. You can rest, little couch away from work.
Yeah, there's a futon. You can kick your feet.
Yeah, like I don't understand women's lounges, but men don't get them. Like, what's the difference in in people and how they're constructed that you get a lounge? The Star Tribune had a front lounge in the women's bathroom, which had nothing to do with the bathroom. So it's, room and then bathroom.
I would guess that it's because a lot of times when women go to the bathroom, it'll be, I have to go to the bathroom. Are you coming with me?
But that's not. That's a choice. But that's a choice. If you and your friend go to the bathroom together, that's a choice. Doesn't substantiate you having a lounge, does it?
No, but also, I don't know that even if you put a lounge in the bathroom, that I would be hanging out in there.
I'm not going to hang out there, but I might take a nap if it's a work lounge. Catch a little cat nap. I actually once worked an overnight shift at the Star Tribune. This is way back when. Okay. So the Star Tribune had a room and a shift where they had all of the various scanners for like police calls, fire calls. And back then that room was staffed 24 hours per day in shifts. And so if the IDS caught fire, it would come across the scanner quickly so you could dispatch a photographer and reporter. Okay. So ideal world. Well, I was about 19 or 20, and this was when I first found out I cannot stay up all night. I just can't do it. Some people can, some people can't. I can't. And so at about, I think my shift was 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. At about 3 or so, I was like, I got to get some sleep. I'm dying here. Women's lounge. They found me sound asleep on the couch. Women's lounge.
Meanwhile, the IDS center is on fire.
I don't care. Why didn't I have a lounge? Why wasn't there a men's lounge?
I could have used that because one of my longest shift ever, since being employed at Hubbard, I worked a 10 to 10 Saturday shift. That was it. But on this one particular Saturday, it was the kind of George Floyd protest downtown. So highways were shut down. Everything was shut down. I was at work and I get a text from Phil Mackey. Hey, the overnight guy isn't able to make it in. We're going to need you to stay the night. Is that okay with you? I was like, well, I guess I can't really leave either. Sounds great. You know what would have been great for that overnight time? A women's lounge, a men's lounge in the bathroom. Something, because I was rearranging chairs, trying, I had the worst back pain of all time the next morning, just trying to, and I was worn out. This wasn't like I showed up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to start at 10 o'clock. No, it was
used a lounge.
I was ready to go.
On this one, AJ, I blame you.
You blame me
for your poor sleeping arrangements, because last I checked, there's the news anchor sets and the Jason show. I'm pretty sure he's got a couch on his show. I'm sleeping on somebody's set.
But that's all downstairs. Like Age wanted a lounge that was assigned to the radio division for us.
I think that's maybe where we're getting down to it is they just don't respect radio people over at Hubbard.
I think that's what it is. I think that's
why we're podcasters now.
Yep.
So we're trying to get our respect. All right. Thanks to Chris. Again, Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today, and you know what you're going to get? That free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. Let's take a break.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
In addition to having the best selection in town, K&L Surplus and Ammo also can help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. Very, very important. You've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one, don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you're no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely and through consignment and auction. I know Jim. He's an extremely knowledgeable guy, great guy too. Will help you get the top dollar, which is very important, of course. He will help you explore all the options and take the work and stress off your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
I think we all agreed, gentlemen, no more troughs. I think that's fair to say. You know what? I mean, I'm with age too. Dividers to me. You should have dividers, but you cannot have troughs. I mean, the Metrodome, you know what? The Metrodome, which was built in 82, it's so long ago, and it is, 41 years now? 42 years now. But, you know, one of the sources of pride there was the fact of how under budget it came in. Like they actually like now it's like, oh, you know, the team kicked in this much more because they want the facility to be first class, and you know it's going to cost us blank billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Metrodome, one of the big things of, yeah, this is great. You knew you were in trouble. Under budget. Yeah, this is great. It's under budget because it's 82. Oh, we're under budget. and like Tevin said too. And this is the thing. The farther that we get away from the dome, there are going to be more people who say, "You're talking about a baggie." Just think about this place for a second. In right field, you constructed what looked like a garbage bag that rose above it because essentially home runs were just like being popped out.
Yeah.
In left field for a prolonged period, you put in plexiglass for baseball. Now that got taken out again, but they put in plexiglass for baseball because home runs were flying out too much to left. In center, you had girders that essentially held the wall up and that Puckett and Hunter ran into and would absolutely hurt you. Like if you, the original turf, go back on YouTube and watch some of like the inside the park home runs and stuff. The original turf was essentially asphalt. So like a baseball would hop. Like if you think back to what we accepted, what we began to accept as the norm, it is absolutely hilarious because now it makes no sense as to why it's like, so hold on a second. You're playing on a turf that is asphalt. You have plexiglass, which always seemed odd in left field for a long period of time. And in right field, you have had to construct a garbage bag because the dimensions were too close. And you have troughs.
I mean, stuff like that's always so interesting to me. One that always sticks out for a lot of baseball fans, I imagine, is the Astros just had a hill and then a light pole in center field, like in play. The center fielder would sometimes have to run back, and then all of a sudden, hey, here's a steep vertical incline. Hope you're fine with doing a couple extra steps here today, mountain climbers. And then, hey, watch out. I know you're running full speed. There's a giant light pole in center field.
Byron Buxton would not do well.
Don't even talk about that. Don't even talk about that. And that was, and the worst part about that was done on purpose as a tribute to the Cincinnati Reds old ballpark. So before they played in their current park, they played in Riverfront Stadium, which they shared with the Bengals. Before that, they played in a place called Crosley Field, to which there was a incline. Now, I believe Crosley Field had that because it was the 20s or 30s when it was built, and there was an incline that they didn't necessarily know what to do with. But the Astros did this on purpose. And yeah, there was a hill. At first I thought, oh, that's sort of cool. And then I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's going to get someone hurt.
Yeah.
That's going to get someone hurt. But at least the Astros in the 60s moved into what at the time they called the eighth wonder of the world, the Astrodome. And they played. So the Astros' first game in that stadium was an exhibition that they played against the Yankees. And Mickey Mantle, I believe it was, failed to or struggled to catch a couple of pop flies, because what they originally did was they originally had grass growing, which is fine, but they had to have the dome paneling was not covered. It let the light in to let the grass go. So then they're like, well, we can't have this because outfielders, the glare doesn't allow them to find the baseball. So they covered up the paneling. So now it was a dome without, outside light. Guess what happened? The grass all died. So then they're like, we got to come up with something to replace the grass, which is where AstroTurf, which, again, what AstroTurf was it was green. It was essentially green asphalt laid down on the ground.
Yeah, it's like, so I've played on AstroTurf, and what it is like very short carpet that if you even fall slightly, all the skin on your arm is just gone. There's there's 100% chance you will get hurt on AstroTurf. It's the worst invention in the history of sports.
Do you guys remember when I think it was a game against the Oakland A's? It might have been a playoff game. I forget. It was at the Metrodome, and Torrey Hunter has told this story. He dove for a ball, and he said, so he ripped the buttons off his jersey, and he said you could smell the burning.
Oh my gosh.
Because it created such friction, you could smell the burn. Like that's what now the AstroTurf the Twins had eventually, they did begin to improve. But that original stuff, Tevin's exactly right. And I'll tell you what, if they still played on that AstroTurf in the Metrodome, I think Buxton's career is done now, because Hunter said the wear and tear on your legs from just standing in the outfield was incredible.
Yeah, because they just lay it down over the concrete floor. Like you're playing on concrete, but there's enough fabric there to give you some extra grip as you run around. Like it's disgusting how they made people play on that.
How do you play football on that?
I mean,
baseball's hard, but football.
Yeah, that's why you would see guys with all of the essentially wrapping stuff on their arms, because they knew I could imagine being a running back, getting tackled every play. Forget it. I would rather get run over by Ray Lewis than play on AstroTurf. It was the worst. And people teams that played on natural grass or artificial turf, artificial turf would come in and be like, you guys still play on this shitty stuff here at NDSU? We're like, yeah, we know. You're just wearing basketball shoes running around. It was the worst.
Oh my God. Yeah. And for football, I can't imagine. I mean, to me, football would suck regardless, because you get, the crap kicked out of you, but I cannot imagine being tackled on that stuff.
Yeah. And then the worst part is the shower afterwards, because it's just all just burning because your whole is up. Nope. No, thank you.
Oh, all right. Last thing before I go, Timberwolves win last night. Did you guys see this score? 133-85. The Toronto Raptors with a bunch of guys out, and they don't care. So good on the Raptors. They accomplished what they wanted. But the incredible thing is this. The Wolves have moved back into a first-place tie in the Western Conference with the Denver Nuggets. They're a game up on OKC. They are 53-23. Yes, this is the Timberwolves that we're talking about. 53-23. And Mike Conley, for all we rip guys for resting, right? In this league, guys sit out all the time. The Wolves actually don't do that much. And Mike Conley was rested last night, which I think is a fantastic idea. You got 6 games left. You need him healthy. You're trying to win, so you're not going to rest guys like Ant. But they got Conley out now. And as I said, with 6 games left, there is a chance the Timberwolves have a very good chance, actually, to get the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, which, as we talked about yesterday, I still cannot fathom. I still am having such a hard time getting my head around this.
Do you think they hang a banner if they finish first in the West?
No, because we're past that, AJ. We want championships. We are past sentimental banners hanging from the rafters. We want championships.
You know, I think they do. I think they do, you guys, because they've got a division. Well, here's the thing. In the league now, divisions are existent, but they don't mean a damn thing because like it's a conference thing. But, you know, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Timberwolves, from the one year that they won the division, I think there's a banner in Target Center for it.
Yeah, I'm like 90% sure.
Okay, Tevin, admit it. We're going to have a banner.
So they will hang when they shouldn't. We are done with that.
I don't disagree.
I want the next banner that gets hung is going to be a world championship.
Second round appearance, 2024.
Fun season banner.
Yes, we took the Nuggets to game 7.
You realize we as a society encourage this now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We give everyone trophies. We celebrate the minuscule of the minuscule. Look, I threw up my hands and gave up when parents and schools started to throw graduation parties for like grade schoolers who like get through 5th grade or something, you know. Yeah. My kid's graduating kindergarten. We're going to have a celebration. Now if mom and dad want to celebrate with the kid because the school year's done, I'm fine with that, just to be clear.
Yep.
But when we started acting like it was a high school graduation, I gave up on society.
I had that sitting there because we did one for like graduating middle school, like 8th grade. And I remember sitting there, I was like, this was so easy. We like, all you had to do is just show up.
Yeah.
Like high school, sure. College, absolutely, and stuff. But like you're saying, 1st grade,
right?
Really?
The only celebration I want going from grade to grade is like the pizza party we have on the last day of school.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's it.
100%. But anything official, and like anything that involves adults should be out.
Yeah, yeah. We don't all need to get dressed up and go to brunch and
or like to gather the class and act, and getting out of 8th grade does not deserve any type of piece of paper / diploma.
Yeah.
No.
Pizza party, it's on. That's fine.
Yes.
You and your buddies, that's great. Always encourage that. But, pieces of paper, give me a break. All right, guys, it's been fun. Mackie in tomorrow, and then I will be back on Tuesday with Tom, who will be back by then. You have been listening, or are, I should say, because the guys will be right back, listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert. You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market and the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Hi, guys. It's Chris Egert from Channel 5 Morning News, along with my friends Megan Newquist and Ken Barlow. In the morning, we pride ourselves on sharing people's stories. I've been lucky enough to be part of this 5 Eyewitness News morning team for more than a decade now. This is where I've raised my kids and working alongside my friends for all these years. We're like a family, too.
We are family, Chris. Working with you and Ken and Hannah, it is such an honor to help folks start their day every morning on Channel 5. We get to catch people up on the news that's happening, and Hannah is here to keep an eye on the traffic around town.
And when it comes to weather, I know people rely on me to plan their day and get their family out the door. Over the last 10 years, there were so many memories and so many laughs. I just love sharing the forecast alongside you guys.
I feel the same way, Ken. To all you who start your day with us here on Channel 5, we think of you as family too. Thanks for turning on 5 Eyewitness News in the mornings.
Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? 2 Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota, started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Back here on the Tom Barnard Podcast, no longer with Judd. Andy is not going to be in today, and there will not be a family podcast, still dealing with some emergencies going on at home. So Tevin and I still in studio. And Tevin, I don't know if you've seen this yet. I saw this during the break.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the old days of the $5?
Yep. $5 foot long.
Yeah, it's Subway's,
absolutely.
right? So I saw the new ad campaign for Subway, and now bear with me. $6, 6 inches. They are now charging $6 for a 6-inch sub. So no longer is it a $5 anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it a dollar more, but it's 6 inches less from what we had. And maybe my mind is, maybe I'm forgetting how long ago this was. It feels like 10 years ago. It's probably more like 20 at this point, but just insane.
Yeah.
Subway just told me, hey, you're never eating here again, because it's frankly not good enough for that.
Right. And like, it's so disrespectful from Subway to us. Like, I was with you, Subway, back in the day, faithfully, before every high school sporting event. $5 foot long. I'm broke. Let's go. For you to now try to pitch this to me as some great deal, 6 inches, $6. I don't care that it's a meal with chips and a drink. Give me my $5 foot long, or I'm never coming back through those Subway doors again. There should be. This is worth rioting in the streets over. This is worth boycotting Subway. This is like remember when everybody went crazy about the Starbucks like Christmas cups?
No, what was that all about?
Oh my gosh. It was like I think they refused to say, and somebody can message in if I'm getting this wrong. I think it was somebody refused to put Merry Christmas, and it was like they did a Happy Holidays instead of a Merry Christmas type cup. Or they changed the design or something. And everybody went crazy. Like, people were like, we are never drinking at Starbucks again. This is that level of outrage that should be around, because this Subway, don't act brand new now that you got a little bit of money and want to make us pay $6 for 6 inches. That's wild.
Just because you're getting Steph Curry and Patrick Mahomes and Charles Barkley on your, first off, clearly you've got the advertising budget. How about we scale back on that?
Yes.
And let's put that back into the actual food, because last time I checked, you were getting called out for your bread being made of rubber. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that, but you do have a point. Take Steph Curry. I don't need Steph Curry to be in the commercials anymore. Just bring back the $5 foot long jingle and let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
Get your life together.
Get Joe Schmo in front of a camera and literally just say, hey, we got subs at foot long subs at $5.
Yeah.
Again. That's all you need.
Or maybe that's how they can afford Steph Curry and like Charles Barkley and Jason Tatum and all those guys, because they're like, yeah, well, everybody's paying $6 now for half of what they used to get for $5. So that's wild.
Oh my God. What to you is like, do you have anything off the top of your head that is a food place similar to that? Maybe not like a big restaurant, but fast food that made a change, either the way that they operated, they rebranded a certain way, they took an item off the menu that just had you absolutely seething mad, full on outrage.
The closest thing that I could think of is McDonald's used to have like dollar nuggets.
Oh.
And it was like you got like 6 nuggets for $1 or something like that.
Okay.
And I remember I was in high school and our basketball coach we would do like V-shakes after a game. And so we'd all get like dollar nuggets and whatever anyway. But that was like a big thing. And I remember they kind of changed up and raised the prices on their McNuggets. And very similar all to this now. All of Osceola's heads just exploded in outrage because how dare you take our dollar chicken nuggets away from us?
I kind of the same one because it was McDonald's, but they had that snack or the
snack wraps,
and those were like $1 or $2, and you got pretty much just like what it was. The name was perfect. It was a snack wrap. Maybe you're kind of hungry, you know, it's after school, you want to stop in, and you know you're gonna have dinner later, but you don't want to ruin your dinner. Just one snack wrap. You get the honey mustard, like crispy chicken. It was great. It was fine. It was quick and easy.
Yep.
And then they took it off the menu. They cited it was like it was too expensive, or it was taking too long to make, to like bog down the production. What are we doing? You're just wrapping stuff up. Like Chipotle does this every day.
Yeah. McDonald's is a multiple offender because they used to have the double cheeseburger, and then when they switched it to the McDouble, they like took a slice of cheese away and raised the price. It's like McDonald's is notorious for messing with a good thing. So yeah, there's a lot of changes like that. I mean, if any listeners have any of their fast food chains that changed up on them, let us know. We can bring them up. But yesterday, AJ, when I made a joke that it was the Tev J show, Eric messaged in and he came up with a name anytime it's just me and you. The Taj Mahal. And I think I like it. It's close enough.
I think I'm looking at it now. It's TAAJ, right?
Yes. And I don't care that it's only got my first initial in there. I like it because the Taj Mahal is, you know, the mausoleum in India that's like the greatest whatever of the world. I like it. Are you a fan?
That's certainly better than anything I would have came up with. What we have, just like the Tev J show?
Yeah, I went with the laziest attempt to combine two names.
Oh my God, no, that's perfect. That's super creative. I think it speaks to. I think he's giving us too much credit because I'm not sure our on mic abilities is that of the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, you got to give us another week before we can crown ourselves that.
But yeah, no, I like that a lot. We might have to, maybe we'll make some shirts or something, you know?
Yeah, sell them at the state fair. Who knows? I'm sure Tom would love that. We show up at the state fair on stage with our Taj Mahal shirts. Yes.
We've got a couple listeners who wrote in here. First off, Eric chimes in with on our Subway topic. Subway is a $3 sandwich at best. And honestly,
he's right.
I agree.
He's right. It's not great. And also they're marketing to make us think that eating a foot of bread, a whole loaf of bread, was somehow going to make us all lose weight. Kudos to them. Yeah, because that's definitely not the thing.
And his second part is quality has been horrible and has been going down since Jared. Yeah. That was bad omens for Subway. Mike writes in here and says, when Arby's took the potato cakes off the menu, I didn't know they had potato cakes.
I would say I'm unfamiliar with the potato cakes. I thought it was just always the curly fries.
Yeah, because I know, like, who is it? Taco John's has the potato olays.
Yep.
And those are, I mean, salty, potatoy goodness.
Yep.
But I like it. When I think potatoes and Arby's, I think of curly fries. Like that's my go-to. So maybe I'll have to look that up and see what those even look like. And then let's see, one more here. The worst thing to be removed from the menu is Dairy Queen stopping the cherry dip for cones.
They stopped the cherry dip? I haven't been to Dairy Queen.
Her was coming back, so the pain may stop.
Okay.
But are you a big dip cone guy?
I'm not a big dipped cone guy. I'm a Blizzard guy. It's hard to not go and get a Blizzard every time.
My problem with the dip is like the shell is good in theory, but as soon as I take a bite, like, you know, maybe you're the passenger. The driver's going to have their Blizzard in the cup holder and stuff. But if you have that sitting in your hand, you're like, how do I not?
Yeah.
How do I? And then it's crumbling, it's breaking, it's all over you. I'm a crunch cone. You ever have those?
Crunch cones are good.
The crunch cone, arguably even messier, but I would go with that 1,000 times over a dip personally.
The dipped cone is essentially just like the dilly bar. And I was never a fan of the dilly bar. I get it's a different, like, because it's soft serve instead of whatever. But yeah, I'm out. I'll do a twist cone if I'm going to do a cone at all.
That's fair. I like I'll have a Buster bar over the dilly bar every day.
Buster bar. That's the one with like the little peanut chunks and like the chocolate, right?
Yep. It's got the fudge on the inside. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Sign me up. But no, if I'm usually my go-to is a cookie dough or an Oreo Blizzard.
Okay.
Or the brownie one. That one's good too. God, I might have to go to Dairy Queen.
Durf writes in and says McDonald's had a great steak sandwich a long time ago. What? I've heard of some of these like big, like gimmicky sandwiches,
like the McRib, which was atrocious.
First off, the McRib, I've heard this thing is leaving for the final time 1,000 times. Can it just actually be left alone? It cannot be that good.
Yep.
Secondly, I remember the McBLT. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes, briefly, yes.
No, the McDLT. Where
okay.
It was Jason Alexander Costanza from Seinfeld was the like spokesperson for this, and it didn't run long, but the commercial was like, it was a gimmick of this monstrosity of a styrofoam tray. On one side, you'd have like the bottom bun with the patty, and that was encapsulated, so it kept it warm. On the other side, you had the top bun with like the tomato, onion, and lettuce, and the whole thing was like, you keep the hot, and the cool side cool. And then you basically, when you're ready to eat it, you just smack it together, and there you go. Which honestly, in hindsight, is kind of ahead of its time, but that seems like so much extra work.
Yeah, because also like, I'm ready to eat it now.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get this to take it home to eat it. I want this now in my car as I drive. And so like, because of McDonald's, you always hear it in, China or overseas, they'll have like sushi or just different menu items that fit whatever region they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was visiting family in Louisiana for the first time. I was probably like 18 years old. Go to McDonald's because I was hungry. Go to the counter and I'm like, hey, I want a McChicken. I'm like, can I get just 2 McChickens?
Okay.
And the lady behind the counter goes, well, what kind? I'm like, I want 2 McChickens. Like, this is the easiest order in the history of orders. And she kind of gets an attitude back with me, and she like points up at the menu. And that was the first time I discovered the spicy McChicken. I was back the very next day to get it again because it changed my mind. I was like, why does the South just get this? Why can't we get this in the North?
I remember that was here for a while because I remember getting one for sure at the one in Spring Lake Park.
Yep.
The spicy McChicken should absolutely be a nationwide thing. Also, going back to those potato wedges from Arby's, Joe writes in and says the potato cakes were like a wedge-shaped thick hash brown, and he said it was heaven in a wedge shape.
God, that sounds delicious. And I'm not a big fast food guy anymore, but God, this brings back the memories.
Jim writes in and says yesterday he bought some lunch sandwiches and soups from Panera for his parents and his sister. Drive through $62 total.
I was Panera, it's good, but that'll run you up a high bill.
Well, what I'll say there, Jim, I think you kind of walked into that one because Panera, to my knowledge, for as long as it's been, if you want an overpriced kind of like faster food establishment, Panera is the place to go because it's fresher ingredients and blah blah blah. So I feel like you're expecting the price to be higher at Panera.
But $62 is still quite a bit because most of it's like half sandwiches and soup. And so like for $60, I would assume he fed like a family of 6.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Hey, let's speaking of half soups and sandwiches and just kind of like shorter, smaller people, Kristyn Burtt's coming up next.
Who is not a fan of Panera.
Oh, she's not?
No, we'll have to ask her about this, but she said Panera bread is in its flop era. So that can't be great.
I can't wait to hear about this. We'll be right back on the Tom Barnard podcast.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever. When you use promo code TOM, you get free shipping on your entire order. You get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets for only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers. 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you can get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner. You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the number one entertainment reporter in the world, Kristyn Burtt, brought to you, as always, by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankcode.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristyn, you're not a fan of Panera Bread, apparently.
I'm not.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why isn't it flop era? This is also for. Do you guys have sweet green in Minnesota?
We do not. No.
Okay, it's similar to a tender greens, which you probably have, like where you make your own salad, kind of.
Okay, yeah, we have like a Crispin green.
Yeah, it's like crispy greens or like fresh greens. Or something.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you guys get that. So sweet green is pretty widespread here in California. And before the pandemic, like the most delicious salads, they were pricey. I mean, they were about $15, but they were really deep bowls, really delicious. Somewhere like maybe mid-pandemic to late pandemic, if you ordered like off their app, or if you ordered, of course, like from a DoorDash or Uber Eats, all of a sudden it'd be like half full. And you're like, why am I getting a half salad that I now just paid $20 for? And so Panera Bread's very similar to that. Like if you get a salad, it's like 75% lettuce and then like all of the good ingredients, all of like the delicious like cheeses and tomatoes and other good vegetables and croutons. There's like 2. So I've decided, because they're all skimping on ingredients, and lettuce we all know is like 4 cents and they're making a huge profit off of it. Flop era. I can't do it anymore. I'm not spending now $25 on a salad that is half full and doesn't taste that good.
I'm all for it. No more salads.
I'm boycotting salads as well.
No, we are not boycotting. I love salads. I made this delicious Greek bowl last night at my house with like a spicy chicken, and it was so good. But had I gone to buy it at Panera or Sweet Green or someplace like that, it would have cost me an arm and a leg.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always cheaper to cook it at your house. Although with groceries going up and up, it's starting to even out a little bit, but still, and you get more enjoyment, I feel like, out of making it yourself. If you get
except for the cleanup.
that does suck. There was one story that I saw this morning. I mean, unfortunately, it feels like every time we open up the news, somebody's being sexually assaulted. Reacher, which is one of my favorite shows, as well as a lot of our listeners, Alan Ritchson came out and said that he was modeling and got booked with some big photographer and ended up being sexually assaulted after he was requested to do a nude shoot. Do you have any more insight on the interview that he did? I think it came out with like People magazine or something like that, is where I saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's really a scary story because he didn't deal. And I think that this is super important because oftentimes when men are sexually assaulted, they don't talk about it because and not that women talk about it as much, but I feel like women feel more empowered to talk about it. And so when men come forward with their stories, I think it's important because they always feel like it won't ever happen to them. And he said that he kept it inside for so long that it started to lead toward depression, and he had suicidal thoughts and did try and almost commit suicide. And that is the scary part. And he's like, you know what? I thought of my sons as I was about to do it, and it stopped him. So I think it's going to be one of those situations where coming forward is probably going to help a lot of other, maybe whether it's his male fans or, the fan base, because we got to talk about this, but we also have to be able to find a way to stop this. I don't know, because oftentimes people are, he was a model. He was there with a photographer. It's a one-on-one situation. How do you protect yourself? How do you stay safe? That's the scary part.
Yeah, and it sounded like it was a very predominant, like well-known photographer, where it was like, hey, this could be an opportunity for maybe my career to take the next step. He met the guy in a hotel to do like a nude shoot. He said that afterwards he went to his agency that he was working with at the time, and he told the agent, and they kind of smiled as if they kind of knew ahead of time that this was a possibility of something that was going to happen. So it seems like, yeah, all of Hollywood needs to have kind of a cleansing process in some of the things they do.
And other industries. We hear about the Hollywood stories, but I want to say, like, when I worked in a restaurant, that was probably my worst era of sexual harassment and unwanted touching. I was a hostess at the time. You'd go behind the line to like even just pick up your meal, and it was like everyone would touch you all along the way while you're just trying to pick up your plate for dinner. So I know we hear the Hollywood stories, but I don't want to just like leave it exclusively to Hollywood.
Yeah.
But this is, and there was an era, and this happened in his past, obviously, too. There was a long era of where auditions were held in hotel rooms, or meetings were held in hotel rooms. And it's up to everybody to make sure that there's no business done in hotel rooms. Like, I don't care what it is, or if that's going to happen, saying like this, listen, we've got a huge presidential suite. This is the only place that we have the space to do it. There has to be multiple people there. Like, maybe you bring somebody with you as your safe person, or you check with the photographer to make sure people are there, or your agents do that. Like, everyone has to be in on protecting each other and having each other's backs.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you're saying, it's not just a Hollywood thing. I remember working at a club, and our bottle service girls would always complain about, well, people keep touching me, and it just comes with the job. And I'm like, no. Like, people can keep their hands to themselves and still have a good time when they're out and about. Like, this is not something that we just have to accept as a society. And people
I was just gonna say 100% agreeing with you. Yeah, on that.
Yeah, and with Alan Ritchson, like, people go like, how can he get sexually assaulted? He's huge. Why don't you? It can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter how big and strong you think you are. Like, it can happen to anybody.
I think that's important too, because I think people think it's what you're wearing, it's the size. That's not it, because it is a moment of power. And if you look at, like, this is a super powerful photographer in the modeling industry versus someone who's like up and coming at the time, the power structure is completely imbalanced. So when something happens, oftentimes you freeze, and you don't know. Like, that's the other thing. You don't know how you react in an emergency, whether it's something physical, whether it's a fire, a shooting, God forbid, we don't know until you're actually in that moment.
Yeah, and kind of speaking on the, whether it's a shooting or a fire, kind of some natural disaster, I saw a video in Taiwan they had a huge earthquake. And you being in California, have you ever experienced a huge earthquake? Like, they had news studios that were swaying. There's a guy in a pool that it would look like a wave pool. Like, how scary are earthquakes as somebody that lives in California?
So I've been here over 20 years, and most of them have been, I would say, somewhere between like the 4 and the 5 category. You feel them, you kind of laugh and giggle. They're noisy. It sounds like a dump truck runs through your living room because everything's shaking and moving, but nothing scary or anything else like that. Nothing where I'd even like hide under a table or start to freak out or try to think of an escape plan, because things are swaying, but the buildings have been structured where they're built on rollers. So it feels like you're on the ocean a little bit. You're moving like this. But we did have a very big at 7.1. It happened in July, and I want to say it was pre-pandemic. So let's say 2019, maybe 2018, but it was in Nevada, but we could feel it here. And let me tell you, that was not fun. But I find that my emergency plan is 1, pick up my phone, 2, tweet earthquake ? And then run to safety. Even in something like that. And the craziest thing, because the aftershock was actually bigger than the initial earthquake for us from the Nevada fault line. And I was sitting on the couch on my laptop, And people started going earthquake, earthquake, earthquake. And I was like, that's so weird. I'm not feeling it. And then like a split second later, my friend called and she's like, are you feeling it? And I was like, no. And then all of a sudden it hit. So it depends on your location. So it can be a ripple effect. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I ran under my table. You're not supposed to be in a doorway. That's old school emergency plans. You have to be under like a strong piece of furniture.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would if there was an earthquake just randomly in Minnesota, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I don't know what I would do. I'd be crying somewhere in the field.
Go under like the strongest table you can find, like that heavy duty piece of furniture, heavy duty bed, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't stand under. And that's, I don't know if people realize this, but in California, we never put like a large picture frame above our bed.
Oh, that makes sense. Because if one happens while you're sleeping, you don't want it to fall
You
on.
will have, it'll fall on your head. Glass will also shatter on your head. And then all of like the large like paintings and photographs, I have earthquake hooks on them. So they like latch in and under like that. You put the wire so they won't fall.
Interesting. I never would have thought. So, I mean, not that I'm not enjoying our national disaster. We got to get to what you're brought here for. Entertainment news. What's going on? What should we be watching and what should we be looking for?
Yeah. Well, first of all, yesterday there's a movie coming out tomorrow called Scoop, based off of Prince Andrew's disastrous BBC interview that got him yanked from the public eye in the royal family. And I interviewed Sam McAllister, and that name, you're probably like, who is Sam McAllister? She's the BBC producer who chased this interview for 2 years. And her story is portrayed in this. And she just gave me kind of the play-by-play of like what happened when she's watching this interview. Cause he's basically saying, yes, I knew Jeffrey Epstein, but no, I never did anything else. And there's a photograph out there with him and a young girl, Virginia Jeffrey, and Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Jeffrey Epstein's kind of like right-hand woman. And he's sweating in the photo, and he's like, the photo is doctored. I don't sweat. And he was saying like he doesn't sweat because he was in a traumatic situation in the Grenada War when he was in the military, and it created a shock reaction. I mean, I could go on and on. It's a whole mess. And she's like, I said, what was your internal monologue as you were listening to this? And she said it was OMFG. She knew in that moment, because they taped it 2 days ahead before it aired on Newsnight on BBC. And she just said, I knew that this was the beginning of the end for him. That his like ego and his hubris just got the best of him. And he thought he could, like, his privilege would talk his way out of it.
Yeah. Did she mention like kind of his demeanor after the interview at all? Like, did he think he just crushed it and like, oh, this is going to go so well?
That's exactly it, Tevin. That's what's crazy about it. And it's shown in the movie Scoop, which is so good. I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. Rufus Sewell plays Prince Andrew, and he just kills it. But that's it. He thinks he crushes it. He goes, that went rather well, didn't it? And he's like shaking people's hands, super proud of himself. And the BBC people are like, yes, of course, thank you for doing this. And inside they are thinking this, yay for them, because they know that this is going to be great TV, but they're thinking this is a disaster. They called it a catastrophic car crash. That's how she described it.
And to be just that out of touch and I mean, it does come down to where he just thought he was that powerful and privileged where I can do whatever and I can say whatever there's going to buy it and we'll move on.
100%. And, he still thinks he's going to work his way back to the public. And she's like, there's no way he's coming back whatsoever. But highly recommend the movie. It's just under 2 hours, really well cast. Gillian Anderson plays the BBC interviewer who nailed every single question, was unflappable, and just strong cast. It flies by. It's pretty dramatic. And anyone who's maybe followed the Jeffrey Epstein story or follows the royal family and all their drama, this was a good one.
Yeah. And you said that's on Netflix?
Netflix starting tomorrow, April 5th.
Oh,
you guys have a lot of good stuff this weekend, because you got Monkey Man in the theaters. You've got Scoop on Netflix. And Ripley came out too on Netflix. If anyone saw the movie going back, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, The Talented Mr. Ripley. Paltrow was in it with Matt Damon. They based a TV series off of it. Andrew Scott stars in it along with Dakota Fanning. It's pretty good. Another good one to watch. And that's a series.
Okay, yeah. I mean, definitely going to have to check the Scoop one for sure. I'm highly intrigued.
That's
Just to see-
It's so relevant too, like the timing of this all as we're dealing with, health crises in the royal family and how they haven't handled their press very well, how they've sort of bungled the whole Prince Andrew thing. And it's an ongoing story. And I think people have a fascination with it too, because no one's ever really been called to the table. Maybe Ghislaine Maxwell, because she's behind bars, but no one's really been punished for being, involved in the sex trafficking ring with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, no, that was other than, like you're saying, Ghislaine in prison, and then obviously Jeffrey Epstein being, murdered or killing himself, whatever side of the fence you're on there.
She goes, and his death. She did not say that he died by suicide. And I thought that was curious. I didn't want to ask her because she's a journalist and I don't think she wanted to get down into the conspiracy theories, but I was like, she specifically used the word death of Jeffrey Epstein. She did not say after he committed suicide.
Yeah, which I'm sure is very calculated on her part, because she's got to, just with talking to people and maybe some off the record conversations, maybe has a little insight on maybe one thing leading one way or another. I know we talked about this earlier in the week with Chance Perdomo that passed away with Gen V. Has there been any more kind of news coming from his death in regards to the show or anything? Or are they all still kind of in mourning?
Yeah, so what I've been told is that production is on an indefinite hold, and they've sent the cast home from Toronto, not only to mourn and take care of their mental health over such a shocking situation, but they have to have time for the production to reassess. Are they going to rewrite the script? Are they going to recast? How long are they going to delay the production? What does that mean for the cast schedules? Because they're all booked and busy as well. And they may have like a movie down the line or another series. And now they have to reconfigure all of these production schedules. So it's going to be a challenging one. And I don't think we were going to see Gen V anyway until early 2025. This is going to be probably now like a late 2025 push at best, maybe even bleeding into 2026.
Yeah. Is there an industry kind of standard for when production crews, whether it's a death or somebody maybe just abruptly quits or, any type of emergency with shows like this? Or is it kind of just a case by case basis?
Totally a case by case basis. And I always go back to the death of John Ritter at the time when he had his heart attack. He was filming 8 Simple Rules. And the cast actually took maybe about 3 weeks off. And then they kind of all wanted to come together and be with each other and be back on set. And the writers quickly sort of scrambled to write in John Ritter's death into the show. So I think it's really about where the cast is at and how they're feeling. But that was a more simple case where they're employed in a sitcom, from say September to April when they're usually shooting. It's much more complicated in the streaming era and coming off of a strike, because we're still catching up with production on TV shows and movies and what was in the pipeline before the strike and what is happening after the strike. So it's a little bit more complicated than just like, okay, is everyone feeling good? Do we want to be together? Let's go back to set.
Yeah, absolutely. AJ, do you have anything you want to chime in with at all?
No. I mean, this was very informative. I was going to ask about the Perdomo follow up, and so that kind of took care of that. So it's interesting how it's got to be such a weird job to have that kind of in your repertoire, where it's like emergency crisis of one of our star actors or actresses is now, in some cases, they just leave the show. And now in this case, it's tragic death in a motorcycle accident. Kind of have that, I guess, like the skill to like, what's our next step? How do we go forward? Because like you said, do you think more companies lean towards a recasting, or is it easier to do a rewrite of writing the character off the show, even though you now can't like film their official exit? Or how do they typically go about that, leaning one way or the other?
I'd say it's probably 50-50. If they have a script and storyline laid out where his character is so entrenched in what was going to happen in season 2, a recast will likely happen. But if they feel like this is Chance's character, I think we have an out with the storyline. If like maybe in episode 2, we can divert and we can rewrite this. I don't think they'll recast if they don't have to.
Yeah, and that would be very tough for whatever actor or actress is now trying to step in and fill that role. And then, I mean, with Gen V and just kind of obviously being a superhero movie, I feel like it could be kind of easy to say, okay, there was some big battle to start the season and he was in this other era that we weren't around in, and he ended up passing away. And
yeah, and sometimes they bring in a family member. You know how they're like, oh, the loss of this character, let's bring in a family member that sort of like still keeps that his spirit alive in some way, shape, or form. And maybe they do that. Maybe he has a sibling or something else like that they bring into the fold. But there are definitely story devices around it. And personally, if I were to predict, I don't think that they will recast. That's kind of my general feeling. I feel like this was Chance's character. And no one's going to be able to capture the magic. I mean, he was incredible in the first season. I mean, he really was one of my favorite actors to watch, and kind of excited. This entire cast, I think, will go on to great things beyond Gen V.
Yeah, they had such a young cast, and it felt like you were really watching the next generation of stars come to. So it's definitely heartbreaking to see him pass away far too young.
Yeah,
but
it's true. It's like when you watch like a Mean Girls and you're like, look at that cast is all still famous. Or you look at like the Breakfast Club from years ago. Like there's certain movies that sort of you go, oh my gosh, look at everyone wound up in a really great place. I kind of feel that same way with Gen V. So, and I know people are just absolutely reeling for this. I mean, can you imagine like he's on his way to set. That Saturday was the table read, and they show up for the table read learning that their castmate has passed away. That is gut-wrenching and shocking.
Yeah, and because when you're on set, it's not like, oh, we showed up for a month and made a show. You're there for, all day, every day for, however long, 6-7 months or however long it takes to film a show, and you become family members. Everybody's extremely close. So I couldn't imagine then having to go back to set after however long, and you want me to act now? Like I'm going to be an emotional wreck.
Right. So they'll take a pause, and Amazon and the writers will have to figure it out and tackle a plan and then move forward, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they do a nice tribute for him in the show of some sort to pay tribute to him. So that would be nice. But we do have to wrap it up. Kristyn, as always, it's great to talk to you. We will see you tomorrow. Kristyn Burtt, Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankcode.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We will be back with more tips on how to survive an earthquake tomorrow.
And before we wrap up here, just a quick mention for people who maybe didn't miss, missed the notification earlier. No family show today as well. Emergency still going on with Andy, so he is not going to be coming in. Expected tomorrow, and we got a packed show tomorrow. We got Phil Mackey in hosting that first hour. We'll have Chris Egert again, Bob Sansevier, Tim Lammers. I hope he's reviewing Monkey Man, Dev Patel. I know we talked about it with Kristyn yesterday, but this is going to be the movie that I think finally gets me back out to theaters.
Yeah, and I'm curious just because I haven't seen or heard a lot about Monkey Man, but when you type in Monkey Man and it's just a picture of a guy in a monkey mask, it looks super freaky. And then you read the description of the show, and I'm like, I'm highly intrigued. I need the Lammer hammer not to come down on this. I need it to be like a 10 out of 10.
I think Tim's going to love it. I think Tim's going to love it. But we'll find out tomorrow. So once again, no family show today, but we will be back. Any final words, Steph?
No, just everybody go out and kill it today. Kill it in life. Just have a good day. Go Twins. Hopefully we come back to a victory.
Yeah, and this has been the Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal.
We'll be back tomorrow with the Tom Barnard Podcast.